Disney! What's not to love, eh?
The House of Mouse has given us some of the most beloved films of all time with their wholesome mix of charming animation, memorable characters, and hummable show tunes.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
And they're at it again this week with Moana, which delves into the mythology of Maui, a demigod from the South Pacific. Directors Ron Clements and John Musker, who gave us The Little Mermaid and Aladdin, actually travelled out to the South Pacific twice to make sure they were doing the stories justice.
And by justice, we mean Disney justice, which involves taking these guys and making their stories a little more wholesome for the family.
Some of their most popular tunes have bastardized not only the brothers Grimm, but Hans Christian Andersen and Victor Hugo, among others. If you played The Witcher 3's Blood and Wine, you may have had a glimpse at the dark truth behind some of these fairy tales.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Tammy Plays, and we are playing Witcher 3 Blood and Wine. We're going to see Rapunzel, who's a straight hottie. If you've seen Tangled, you know she is a banger. Here we go, Rapunzel baby. Oh my god! What is going on here? Why is she That's just one example of Disney's sugarcoating. Here are 5 more. Viewer beware, your outlook on life may be fundamentally damaged after watching this.
Sleeping Beauty, as written by Guillaume Batista Basile, features one of the most morally reprehensible kings in all fairy tale fiction. Like in the Disney version, she's pricked by a splinter and falls into a slumber. Her father deals with this in the very normal way of seating her on a velvet throne and then abandoning her in a house forever. Sometime later, another king stumbles upon her and tries to wake her, but ultimately fails. Now, it's about to get real nasty in here, so if you don't want your lovely childhood memories of this story ruined, then look away now and cover your ears as well. The king actually impregnates Sleeping Beauty while she's unconscious and then just returns to his kingdom. She gives birth to 2 children, Sun and Moon, while still in her coma. One of the kids manages to save her life by sucking the splinter out of her finger, which wakes her up to a world where she's a mother of 2 and has no idea who the father is. Things end up relatively happy after the king's illegitimate children are saved from being cooked into pies, and Sleeping Beauty escapes being burned alive at the hands of the jealous queen. But it's hard to get over just how awful the king's behaviour was. So she's unconscious, he impregnates her, she gives birth while still unconscious. None of this story is okay.
When you're the best of friends, having so much fun.
The last time I watched the Disney movie The Fox and the Hound, I wept like a baby. What a 25th birthday that was. But I had no idea the novel behind the film was so much worse. Like the Disney film, there are 2 hunting dogs, Chief and Copper, and 1 red fox named Todd, who revels in tormenting the hounds as they are chained up at the farm. That is until one day, your main man Chief decides to break free and chase the fox Todd. After the fox jumps the train tracks in the chase, Chief attempts to follow and is killed by the locomotive. With his favourite dog dead, the master promises revenge on the fox that killed his beloved hunting companion. What follows is years and years and winters of revenge-filled, frenzied fox hunting, even going as far as only training the remaining dog Copper to just hunt Todd. In their quest for revenge, Master and Copper head out into the woods to find Todd, pushing harder and harder for hours and hours until Todd can run no more and falls down dead from exhaustion. With Todd dead, the Master nurses Copper back to health before returning to his alcoholic ways. But when his deteriorating health forces him to move to a nursing home that unfortunately doesn't allow dogs, he takes his shotgun from the wall, leads Copper outside, and pets him ever so gently before ordering him to lie down. I swore I wouldn't cry making this video, but if there's one thing that always gets me, it's those poor dead animals. Dead animals and onions. Oh, my dog used to love onions.
Ah, the Hunchback of Nitra Don, the heartwarming tale of Quasimodo, a deformed outcast that becomes a hero to the people that once shunned him. But what if I told you that story is a lie? Quasimodo is a moron, and he's also a bit of a creep.
See, in the cute and colourful Disney version, Quasimodo comes to accept that Esmeralda, a beautiful gypsy girl that captures his heart, is in love with someone else and gives the happy couple his blessing. It's a classic Disney fairy tale that ends with everyone living happily ever after. But in Victor Hugo's original version of the story, it doesn't quite wrap up as nicely as that. Oh no. In fact, the original ending is decidedly more tragic, with Esmeralda being hanged by Claude Frollo, who kills her because she's not interested in him.
What a loser.
In that version, the simple-minded Quasimodo basically delivers Esmeralda to her death, and only realizes his mistake when he notices Frollo laughing at the limp, lifeless body of his gypsy love interest. Quasimodo becomes the mayor of Creeptown by then going to the graveyard where Esmeralda's body is dumped and laying down next to her. He stays there until he dies of starvation, and their bodies are discovered over a year later with skeletons entwined.
I don't know about you, but I'm glad I never saw that version of the story as a kid.
Under the sea, darling, it's...
You know that weird, gross stuff that washes up on the shores of beaches and the wave comes in? That weird sea foam? That's dead mermaids. You, Disney, and the narwhal you rode in on. You never mentioned that in your version. But that's the kicker. In the original fairy tale from the Danish author Hans Christian Andersen, that version sees the Little Mermaid give up her 300-year-long life in the sea to have a human soul, and all for the love of a smarmy prince that she saves. But here is where it gets really nasty. The small print in this deal dictates that she will have her tongue cut out and lose her beautiful voice. Every step will feel like she is walking on sharp knives. She only gets a soul after the prince marries her, and if he falls for another, her heart will break, she will die, and then dissolve into sea foam. Damn, Hans! You have one screwed up imagination.
Salagadoola, metchigaboola, bibbidi bobbidi.
For the most part, Disney's take on Cinderella is in line with the Brothers Grimm. It just leaves out all the self-mutilation.
There's also the matter of Cinderella's father being alive in the Brothers Grimm version and him being a bit of a shitbag. After Cinderella's mother dies, he remarries, which is where the pretty-faced but cold-hearted stepsisters come in. They abuse innocent Cinderella, forcing her to work non-stop, calling her names, and generally making her life a living hell. From there, things go pretty much as you know it. Cindy is magically transformed into a beautiful fair maiden. She captures his heart, but vanishes just before midnight on each day, leaving her slippers behind on the third. But things get a bit gruesome from this point. When the prince shows up to Cindy's house to find his would-be queen, one of the stepsisters cuts off her own toes so she can fit into the slippers and live a life of luxury and privilege.
Take it away, Jamie.
Oh, she's a gold digger. Way over town. That digs on...
The prince sees through the ruse and moves on to the other sister, who tries cutting off part of her heel instead. The third time is a charm, however, and the slipper fits. Things end happily with Cindy marrying the prince and then commanding some doves to peck out her stepsister's eyes.
And you know what? We don't blame her.
So there you are, the gross and slightly disturbing origins of 5 of your favourite Disney movies. Sorry for any childhood trauma we've caused. For more videos like this one, make sure to like and subscribe to GameSpot and GameSpot Universe, and we'll see you next time.